My first vegetable garden is all about being a new gardener, and one of the things that you can do to become more self-sufficient, cut down on the cost of having a garden, is to collect leaves. And I'm going to show you two simple ways to make leaf mold. It's a fungal process and it's pretty straightforward. We're not going to spend too much time on it. You're going to fill up a trash can with shredded leaves. I recommend cutting this up with a lawnmower. It's okay if you get some grass in there, that will actually help break it down. But you're going to basically put in the shredded leaves, you put them in halfway, wet them down, fill them up. Now, we're going to also set it up in a trash bag, so you don't even have to have the cost of buying the galvanized metal trash can. We'll poke a bunch of holes in there, put leaves in there. I'll show you that all in a second. This is what you're going to have at the end of the video. Please take a second and subscribe to my first vegetable garden. I will teach you how to become more self-sufficient, and I'll help you have a better garden. So to set up the trash can, you're going to have to put holes around the bottom. This is also a place where worms can crawl in, eat the leaves, leave castings behind. I'll show you how we set the trash can up for that. Now, when you drill in a hole or you use nails and put in holes, be careful. It's going to be really sharp on the inside especially, so you don't want to reach into that bottom and move your hands around when you're collecting the leaves. You're also going to have to put 6 holes in top of the lid. You want to make sure air circulates all through this, but most importantly, when we set this up, fill it up halfway, soak it down, add in more leaves. So let me get the leaves, the water, and I'll just show you how to set up the trash can and the bag. Leaves are a great resource to use in your garden. You can fill up as many of the trash bags as you want, poke holes in there, and then you'll have plenty of leaf mold. Now, leaf mold isn't filled with N, P, and K. It doesn't have very much of those primary nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, but it has a lot of other good stuff in there, trace elements. It's great for conditioning the soil. So you would use this along with a fertilizer or other compost and other manures. This is one place that I am collecting leaves, and I just wanted to show you. It's 65 degrees now, and the temperature there is just about 100 degrees. So this is a fungal process, not a bacterial process, although there is some bacteria in there. It's going to warm up a little bit, but the leaves are essentially just composting down into leaf mold. And you can see some of it is dry. You really want to make sure you soak the leaves down. Add in more water than you think. It will all drain out the bottom, but you need the moisture for the fungal process to really work. So that's halfway, and then you can move these around, and they're still dry in areas even after all that water. Really, really, and I'm stressing it, soak it down. So we'll fill it up with some more leaves, soak it again, and make sure you don't just soak it when the leaves are full here. You want to do it about a third, maybe or halfway, and then all the way up. Just get them nice and moist. Quick run with my tractor mower. We have a ton of leaves. Now, these are shredded up, and you basically, there's all kinds of leaves, of course, but you basically have two kinds. Leaves that are really thin, and they crumble in your hand. You can rake these up, crush them up with your hand really when you put them in there. You also have thicker leaves like oak leaves. If you have oak leaves, you really do want to chop them up because they're so thick. Now, it takes about a year if you're using, if you're trying to make leaf mold. If you're just putting these into a bin, it could take up to a year. Putting them in a trash can or in a bag will speed up the process because you keep the moisture in, it's dark. The fungi really seem to take off that way. But even so, it's November now. In 4 or 5 months, if this isn't completely broken down into leaf mold, it's still a great mulch. I can use it in the garden, can mix it in my soil. So this is a great way to become more self-sufficient in your garden and not spend a lot of money. So let me fill this up halfway, and then we'll put in the next step, which is, of course, water. All right, so we filled the trash can up with the leaves. Look how nicely they're shredded, extremely dry. I'm going to keep saying it. You got to keep them moist. A whole bag, one of those black bags, went into here. We'll probably be able to get into in the 2 bagfuls. In the bottom, you want to put. So the holes are really for drainage. You really want to make sure you put in a ton of water. And again, this will take a good 3 minutes to soak this through, because once the bag is closed, no more rainwater is going to get into there, and all the holes that we're going to punch in at the end is really for airflow. Let me fill these back up again, but again, I'm stressing, you really want this to be moist. Lid goes on, bag gets tied, you put them away for 4 or 5 months. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll show you how to become more self-sufficient. It doesn't take a lot of work, but it does take effort. And I'll show you how to have a better garden. So we are done, except for making sure we have holes in it. So for the black trash bag, probably 50, 75 holes on this side, on the underside. You could use a knife just like that. If you have a pitchfork, just start poking holes through it. This is an aerobic process, which means it needs air. So we're putting in a lot of holes to make sure the air circulates through. Now with the trash cans, we have holes in the bottom for drainage and for worms to climb in. And what you do is you set up a mound of leaves just like that, soak it down, and then we just drop this trash can right onto there, and that will provide a space for the worms to climb into the bottom of the can. Now, because we're using metal cans, I don't recommend putting more holes in this side because they'll be sharp and you reach your hand in, that's going to be bad. So if it's a plastic container, you know, maybe a dozen so holes in the sides. But when you put the lid on, you don't need to really smash it down. Just leave it on its side. So you can just rest the lid on the side. You can put more holes in the top if you want, but just leave it cracked over there. You don't necessarily need the lid. It helps keep it dark, you know, keeps the leaves from blowing out. That's up to you. But you want to just make sure, again, make sure the leaves are moist, bag them up, set them up, put them where they need to be. 4 or 5 months, you're going to have leaf mold. If it's not perfect, let it sit for longer, but it's going to break down. It's also going to reduce by at least half, so you're not going to get as much as you see now, because as it breaks down, it's going to fill the air spaces and it's going to compact. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com, and please subscribe. I'll show you how to have a better garden. Thanks for watching.